Welcome back to Making Money Matter. I'm your host, Kerry Stevenson. I've got Truth Bomb Tony back, except the chimp's gone, and we've got an octopus in the background. Where's my chimp, Tony?
Well, those two, the chimp and Otto, were having some intimacy issues, so we got rid of the chimp for a while, and no, he'll make a comeback, and no, it's Otto the octopus, and reflects my multi-pronged approach to markets and life.
I love it. I love it. But he's got scary eyes in the background. Well, it's been a month since I've spoken to you, Tony. 1 whole month. You actually took a holiday for the first time in a long time. So it's good to see you back. Good to have you back on the channel. Now, the gold price has held up. The silver price has been on a bit of a tear. Copper's up. Iron ore's holding. Things are looking a little bit more rosy in the classroom these days. What's your view? What's your take on the market? Should people be taking stock of this? Are we just at the start? I'm not sure.
I guess after 2.5 years of utter garbage, let's face it, small caps have been absolutely terrible. The worst two and a bit years of my career. Now there's signs of life. And one of the biggest risks for any speculator is getting wrong-footed. And when you're wrong-footed, you're pretty much stuffed. And by that, I mean buying at the top, selling at the bottom, and chasing stocks. And now that there's been some signs of life, some stocks will double, triple, and move like that. And suddenly you think, oh, that's the end of it. I better sell. And then we're going into a full bubble. And if you look at fundamentals, you look at the steady players that get through all the cycles, you stick to your core stocks, your quality, and you trade the effluent around it, because once the effluent starts to flow, you get profits. But again, I'm trying to instill in my clients, just don't become a gambling addict. Right. And it's like having a sports bet app, playing a poker machine, or watching porn. You've just got to stay away from these bad things. Again, becoming addicted, being wrong-footed, and you're pretty much cooked as a speculator. And what I've been telling my clients is that 97%, it's a Canadian figure, fail in speculation. And most of the time, you are going to look wrong. You're going to feel stupid. You're going to want to fly over to Perth and punch me in the nose. But you cannot have exposure to 10 baggers without going through. It's like Andy Dufresne crawling through the shit for freedom. Even though it was chocolate sludge, you have to go through it. And it's a long-term game. You can't buy a parcel of stocks and ignore it. I'm thinking we're on the cusp of seeing some hell runs. I know traders are around. A lot of what I see on the screen, cue the Benny Hill theme song, and this will go on. So stick to fundamentals, and if you get a chance to take your rubbish out, take your rubbish out. So I think we're building up to exciting times, and your watch list should look like a South Sydney jersey. You should have a mixture of red and green. You just can't go in the one direction for too long. So no, I'm enthusiastic, pumped. Went with Juliana to Koh Samui, had one of the best holidays I've ever had. I was there by the pool. A minute later, I could get up to the screen if a client needed an order. And my way of living now is to die with nothing and have experience over buying bullshit assets that you don't need and no one likes you anyway. So there you go. That's the multi-prong approach, Kerry.
That was a lot to take in, Tony. And
well, it's how it works.
Okay.
Don't people...
I want to find out how it works for somebody that's just, because I've got a lot of people on the channel now that are just getting started. And, maybe they see us, let's just call it stock A and stock B, and they see stock A and stock B, and they like both of them, and they've gone in because they like management, they like the commodity, and let's call it a gold stock and a silver stock, for example, A and B, and they've bought into it. How do they know? You know, because maybe they really like the management, they really like the project, and they're in it for the long haul. Are you saying that's not the best way to invest your hard-earned wealth in the small cap sector? Are you saying once you've made a profit, take some funds off the table? What's, just explain to us whether they sit there and just ignore it or they've got to keep watching closely. Just give us your advice as to the best way to play this.
I always find the highest quality juniors that will either become miners or get taken out. So they are the stocks we build the foundation of our portfolio. We do go into some companies that are more highly speculative, that could have a big future, that could hit the ball out of the stadium, and you make a shit ton of money. So that's what speculation is all about, is being exposed to that risk, but having companies through, I've been doing this almost 26 years now. I've followed mining companies from exploration through to production. I can see them. I can tell you the stocks now, we're back into the absolute hilt, and that they're the core stocks you build a portfolio around. You take a portfolio approach to biotech. Biotech has been the red-headed stepchild of my life, because once other people fall out of love with it, they'll sell, others sell, and you're in this pipeline of negativity. But again, only when a company will come and deliver, and they'll get re-rated. One of my stocks today, Dimerics, announced a licensing deal in the Middle East. I mean, that was 6 cents in a phase 3 trial. And I think today it closed at 42. And
Holy
Nina went out.
Tony.
But that takes time. But you had people selling a stock down in a phase 3 trial because the share price was in the doldrums, and they raised money. They managed to raise $20 million. Now, hopefully, if they can crack some more licensing deals and the readout comes out positive, this thing will keep going. But sometimes you have to deal with a shit ton of negativity, and you'll see it on financial forums because they become cults. Right. And once you're in a cult, it's bloody hard to leave it. I've had stocks that are 5, 6, 7, 8 bagged. I've had people that have become millionaires on paper that have let it turn to not as much money, but it is hard to sell on the way down. And I'll keep saying, I copped $1 million lesson on Exafund. Shit happens. It was like I had financial freedom staring me in the face. I was too loyal. I wasn't greedy.
That's the thing, Tony. That's what I want to ask you about. There is this thing about being too loyal, and that's what happened to me. I got really loyal, and like you, I had a great paper profit in there. And I remember you told me, you said, Kez, take some profits. Did I? No. Why would I listen to Tony? I want to watch it go all the way down to into the ground. But I guess that's kind of the loyalty factor. You got to take that emotion out, don't you?
It's hard to do because in a bull market, there's dopamine and other stuff rushing through your body, and you do start to see dollar signs, and your whole mindset changes. And speculators totally lose respect for money when they start to make it. And I actually gave it some thought. I'm happiest when I'm in survival mode. I've obviously got my portfolio, but when I'm struggling with income, I like to fight. And I find that I start to watch my money. I'll look at my insurance premiums. But when you start to make money, you'll throw it around and you get lazy. You won't take a profit. I mean, it's called effective use of capital. If you have a 5-bagger, 10-bagger, and they are starting to run out of legs, there's a cult, there's no news coming, they're going to have to raise money, take some, redistribute into another one. There's always a life-changing, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is always round the corner. But it's psychology, and that's where I'm trying to teach my clients to be on top of things. Don't get complacent, because once once you start to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on these stocks, and some of my clients are, answer your friggin' phone. That's all I ask. People, I ring them up saying, look, let's trim, but you have to sell when you feel the highest, when you're back slapping, when you're looking to buy a new house, when you're getting that dopamine rush, sell some.
Right.
I think what holds people back from going to the next level is they're not worried about buying a Lambo or getting a model girlfriend. All they care about is selling a stock and worrying that it goes higher. Who gives a shit? I've seen a lot of my companies like Northern Star from 5 cents through to $15, Independence Group, a few other examples have gone on with it. But a lot of these junior stocks are cyclical, and you have to understand that they will go through peaks and troughs. You will have 500, 600, 700% rallies that you should make the best of. But look, for someone new, I think, as I said, I'm happy to mention some stocks. And if you don't buy these ones, you don't have to buy them. Surely that they have had a bit of a run, but try and find similar stocks as the cornerstone of a speculative portfolio, and then build around it. Look at some other higher risk stocks that have been beaten up that offer multiple upsides simply on a recovery. But I know that my clients are up and about. I'm up and about. But the other thing someone new could do, TonyLocantro.com, register. I'll send you some insights. And sometimes I'll actually send you an invite to one of our Zoom sessions. I run these Zoom sessions with my clients. We will have some Q&A from time to time. And I think the key for a speculator is to get educated and hopefully leave me. I mean, probably the best thing that's happened to me is I've got people that troll me, bag me, pick stocks that I'm down on. Don't worry about the success over 25 years. And that keeps people away from me and allows me to service the clients I've got. And thank God for those people. Because, you stick your neck out, you make calls. A lot of it's out of my control. So again, we're coming into June. I've probably got the time to maybe take on a handful of people, maybe put out some more information. And I don't care. I've got enough happening to ensure that I'll survive. So just get educated, get amongst it. Don't join all these cults. Don't get on this negativity loop.
Yeah.
Mark Twain had a saying that goes something like, it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. And all these conspiracy theories about manipulation and trying to hold down share, it's just an absolute crock. And all that's happening is we're seeing a free market in stocks. And there's a phase of the market I call the admin phase. It's where a company is raising money through a rights issue, and people will sell to take up the shares lower. That is their right. And during that phase, everyone builds their position, whether you buy stock, sell stock, hold it. And every company in a capital raise will go through these phases. There's nothing sinister about it. It's a free market. No one's manipulating anything. And that's my viewpoint of that. I try and operate, obviously, over a long time with integrity, but low prices tend to make me look like a crook. And they think that I'm doing some sinister shit. So get educated. Don't get paranoid. Build your portfolio around quality stocks. Have a bit of a punt. If you're young, take risks. I'm getting my kids involved. Actually, probably my 16-year-old's going to take on my business. He's great. I mean, so there's going to be a transition. And so my younger clients will get to deal with me in the background and a nice kid who's going to emerge into a great talent. So there's lots ahead. You've got a long career as a speculator. stay on the right side of it, stay mentally, physically fit, and give yourself the best chance. And that's all I'm doing, is giving my clients the best chance of success in a tough area.
That was really good information, by the way, really good, especially for those that are starting out. Would you look at management first or commodity first? What's more important, or are they equal and above each other? What's the most important?
Well, you can look at the best management, and they might be good at their jobs, but they couldn't spruik to save themselves. Maybe they'll get up at a conference and put everyone to sleep. That shouldn't detract. You don't go to the pub and hear about these stocks because they don't spread bullshit. Then you could have management who are excellent spruikers that can get a company to $1 billion valuation, and they've got jack shit. That happens. I've found that throughout my career is I've always been positive on gold, even when gold was $250 an ounce. I've seen it go through all the phases, and it's all relative. If you can produce gold for lower than what you sell it for, you're going to make a profit. And there's always a gold sector. I don't think you need to fuss too much about the commodity. Obviously, you didn't want to buy cobalt or lithium at the top, or ammonium at the top. You just have to focus on the company. If the grade is there, if they make a discovery, it doesn't matter if nickel's in the doldrums, doesn't matter if they make a nickel discovery or anything ending in IUM, it's still going to overshoot to the upside.
Now, I have to do, sorry to interrupt you, I'm going to do a blatant plug here because you mentioned gold.
Yep.
Tony's going to be speaking at the Australian Gold Conference, day one, just after lunch, and his title is called The Successful Speculator. So if you want to meet Tony in person, you come along to the Australian Gold Conference. He'll be speaking on Tuesday, the 27th of August at about 1:30 in the afternoon, so just after lunch, to keep you all awake, because I can tell you one thing. When Tony speaks, people listen. So go to goldevents.com.au and book your tickets, because the early bird is still there. Tony, it's going to be huge this year. Huge.
Well, about time. I remember the 2011, 2012 ones where I got to sit next to Eric Sprott, and I think John Embry was there, and those Luna Park days, and the day where Jake Klein said this is a renaissance of the mid-cap gold sector, and boy, was he right. Yeah. Was he right? I remember those words. So again, conferences are fantastic. You always come away with a gem. I know that I pick up a couple of absolute ball terrors at conferences. Yeah. Again, I don't mind being approached by people. I'll have my lovely partner, Juliana. She comes to conferences with me because I actually care. I actually like her, and I'm not trying to get away from her. But I'm not drinking. I haven't had a drink for 18 months. So she might have a drink just to, because it's a whole new world, this gold world. And yeah, it's just great people in the mining sector. Great humor.
And I think it's important to note as well that it might be called the Australian Gold Conference, but we cover precious metals. So silver will be there. Now, silver at the moment, Tony, some people are talking that silver, and here's the thing, people say, oh, gold's so expensive. Well, if you got $50, buy a little bit of silver, because precious metals are money, everything else is credit. And that's what we're trying to get people to understand. And there are some great silver companies out there. I mean, I know you like Maronan, and they're a good little silver company, aren't they? Now, what's going on with them?
Well, we just had an application to the takeovers panel to stop the placement from a shareholder. I'm not going to make any personal comments. All I will say is that the broker I floated that company with and raised money with, Veritas, are the best stockbroking firm I've ever dealt with in 25 years. And unfortunately, with Maronan, it's chronically undervalued because no one knows about it. And at the moment, they're raising money and people are free to do what they like. So, I mean, that's fine. I share this shareholder's concern about the valuation. I don't want to see this company taken over before they can get into production. Right. It is a fantastic story, two 30 million ton resources next to each other, but we're in the admin phase. So my clients can do what they like. We're not belting it, but they're welcome to buy and sell until we get this capital raising out of the way. And then they can still do what they like. If people are happy with a double, triple, they can take it. I know my target's a lot higher than that. And, you know, I'm not, well, this is my biggest position. I've got a Saturday shared lotto win invested, and I've invested in this company at retail prices. I've not got any cheap shares. So I'm aligned with the shareholders, but again, we're going through that phase. But look, I don't need to look outside of Maronan in silver because some of these deposits are small, they're overvalued, or they're never going to get into production.
Okay.
So that's it. I don't need, you know, I'm happy with the one company. I don't need to diversify because I know that the silver's there and it's close to the surface. So again, you know, it'll take time and it's a liquid. They'll have a good run. They'll get belted from time to time, but that's, you know, on the path to triple figures and then some. It's not a straight line.
Yeah, it's interesting. You said you were happy to mention a couple of other companies.
Yeah.
Don't want to run out of time, so let's crack on. Come on, give my beautiful.
Well, if you want to learn about junior companies, research Maronan, research Red Metal, who own 46% of it, got alliance with BHP, have a host of potential company makers with a rare earths deposit 20 k's from Mount Isa that looks fantastic. That company's been going for over 20 years, hasn't got many shares on issue.
Code is RDM.
RDM, it's quality. You don't have to buy it, just research it. The other company which has at one point doubled for us was Saturn Metals.
Oh yeah.
So STN, and they're 25, 26, hit 30. They did a capital raise at 12.5 cents. We've been buying the living crap out of them. So if you look at Red Metal, Maronan, Saturn, and the one that's come off for us, Kerry, is Spartan.
Ah, what's SPR is the code for that one?
SPR, 72.5 cents. I picked that up from Nick Reed's conference.
Yes,
and could not believe the valuation, 11 cents. And I've got clients that bought that around 11 cents. I think it's 72.5 now.
It is.
And probably at one point, the losses were worth more than the company, and they had the plant, they had the cash. They've just raised more money to aggressively drill. And that stood out. I've had some others that have, you know, that look okay. So if you base your quality portfolio around those companies, I know that they've doubled and performed well, but is it too late? I don't know, but you have to be an early adapter. So they're the ones I really focus on.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we actually did not talk. This is not pre-prepared at all.
No.
I've had a pretty busy day today, so I haven't had a chance to talk to Tony at all. But the interesting thing is, out of all those companies that he just mentioned, Saturn, ASX code STN, Spartan, ASX code SPR, Maronan, ASX code MMA, but not Red Metal, but those companies are all going to be at the Australian Gold Conference. And here's the thing. What I like is, even if you do nothing now, or even if you do something now, the good thing is you can walk up to Ian Bamborough or Richard Carlton or any of the guys running the companies, look them in the eye and ask them, what are you doing with my hard-earned wealth? What are you doing with my money that's going to give me value in the future? And there are no dumb questions. If you want to say to them, talk to me like a 5-year-old, I'm not a geo, I'm not technical, then get them to talk on your level. And as I've said to many people in the past, the most important thing you can do is to understand where you're putting your money. It is your money. So ask questions. Tony will be there as well. So you can ask it, so you can meet all these people and get yourself educated. I just wanted to mention that, Tony.
Yeah. Oh, look, I don't blame you. I look forward to getting back on the speaking circuit. I do a bit of emceeing, but it's to put together a bit of a slideshow. Should be great. What a fantastic venue as well. The whole vibe of that place. It's amazing. And it'd be good to see that more people getting involved, as share prices climb higher, everyone will start to want a piece of the action.
Yeah.
And yeah, great. Can't wait, Kerry.
Well, Tony, thank you so much. It's always good to see you. And for those of you that are yet to do anything about getting tickets, we've actually got a free event sponsored by Bullion now on Monday, the 26th of August, starts at 5 o'clock. And that, Tony, is just going to be, and we might even get you on that panel as well, because that's just going to be about what are all the different ways you can buy gold. So maybe we'll get you as the equities guy, you know, what to look for,
Okay.
etc. So I think that's really important, guys. And we're going to have a party afterwards, you know, and you can go to goldevents.com.au, book your tickets. You got to come for the whole lot, including dinner with Vince Sorrenti. It's going to cost you not a lot of money. So go on to goldevents.com.au, get your tickets now, because I can tell you I'm going to switch off the tickets for early bird in the near future. But Tony Locantro, last word goes to you as always. Final word of advice to our beautiful audience out there.
Don't get wrong-footed and stay humble. And if you want to learn, register at my website, and I don't give the hard sell. TonyLocantro.com, no hard sell. There you go.
TonyLocantro.com, or as I like to call him, Truth Bomb Tony, with what is it? Otto in the back.
Otto, yes.
He's got
the multi-pronged approach to portfolio speculation, life, and just having fun, Kerry, because speculating should be fun, and let's make it fun.
All right. The evil eye is watching. I'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks. Thanks, Tony.
Look forward to it, Kerry. Thanks.